Well, good morning.
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 I guess good afternoon. I suppose. Yeah, good afternoon. So I'm sorry I'm no longer in my bunny costume. So, but could not stand the heat. But wanted to talk today about finding your big why, and this is important to me because I struggled when I came and I first heard about a big why with Keller Williams 4 years ago. It was the first time I had heard of a big why. New concept for me. And I went to Ignite, and they kind of walked us through a couple of exercises, and I still did not have a really well-defined big why, and didn't really understand what the big deal was about a big why. And I'm willing to bet a lot of the people that aren't here today don't understand why a big why is a big deal. Because if they knew their big why, they were connected with their big why, how they looked at it would completely change. And so I'm kind of passionate about getting people connected with their big why. It's important to me because it changed the way that I think, the way I look at the world, the way I align my priorities as soon as I had a well-defined big why. And one of the things that helped me was I went to Tennessee and took the One Thing workshop with Chad Hines. And he walked us through a lot of exercises and asked us a lot of questions that I'd never heard before, thought about before, looked at, that helped me get in touch with mine. And so I've taken a lot of the content from this, some stuff on my own, some stuff from Keller Williams, kind of all brought it together to come with what we have today. And in my research, trying to find my big why, I found it's not a Keller Williams concept. You know, it's kind of a universal concept. There's lots of coaches out there. There's lots of success-oriented people that talk about their big why. There's been lots of studies on big why and the impact that it has. So I hope you guys get some value out of today. Where did all those sheets go?
Don't say Susan, I didn't help you prepare that.
They were all stacked this way.
Oh, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
They were on top of that folder.
Oh, no.
Okay, well, I'm gonna take somebody pick them up and walk away.
There was some stuff here, but I don't think.
Susan, will you go look on my desk and see if they're there?
Let me just double check.
'Cause I was sure that I had brought them.
Elma had grabbed them.
All right, guys, give me 2-3 minutes. I'm gonna go print them again and bring it back.
Awfully quiet in here now.
You gotta get more food?
Are we out of plates?
You're still eating.
Will you stay?
Yeah, I'm gonna stay. I haven't taken this one yet. I think I know why, but we can narrow it down a little bit more.
Hey, look at this, Jane. Look, I stole it. I stole
Oh,
it.
you're awesome.
I saved it just for you.
You're
That book,
awesome.
I started that book.
The same book he said?
That he's,
Yeah.
I've listened to an Audible. I don't like the Audible version. I need to
Yeah.
get the book, but it's
Okay,
good.
yeah, I'm a tangible, hands-on person, so
Yeah.
yeah, I like.
Well, I do it while I'm driving.
Oh,
Thank you
yeah,
so much.
oh, yeah,
I mean, the meatballs are kind of.
Yeah, the meatballs are good.
yeah, very good.
Yes, but I'm thinking I might need real sweet.
And I've
Well, you
got
guys
my
are
protein.
feeling high.
Did you have these? Were these good?
I haven't had one yet. I'm sure they're probably peppermint brownies.
That chopped rum, that cake is delicious.
This right here
Yeah.
or this?
That, yeah.
Right here.
Mhm.
Okay, I'll take your word.
It tastes like a rum cake with like chocolate chip. It's
You
real
from?
good.
Yeah, where'd he
You
go?
went to go print them out.
Oh.
Double duty.
You know what, why you gonna do that? You should have waited, because then they go in.
You got his number? I thought, oh no.
I know.
You don't know? No
Well,
more.
I have to eat white dishes, cupcakes.
Which ones was hers? This Franklin on it.
The only thing left over there was meatballs and ham.
Okay, I'm good now.
All the food that was left.
I need to get a
Today.
cigarette today. I have to eat my food.
Oh. Well, I should remember too.
What's the matter?
He said there's no plates.
I'm not afraid to eat.
Hey, what was this right here, Stuart, with the shrimp? Did you have
We might
that?
have one.
It tasted good.
Was it spicy?
It's shrimp and grits, Jane.
Did you change your mind?
Yeah,
small.
Oh.
Wait, it was soft.
Where were these?
They were in Elle's office, so I went and got them from
In
her.
Elle's office?
She grabbed them.
Now we got tons. I told you it wasn't a figment of my imagination. All right, so guys, start with the question, what is a big why?
Your motivation.
It's motivation. That's definitely part of it. I came across two definitions that I was really fond of. One of them was it's a compelling purpose that propels you through life, forcing you out of bed every day and fueling your passion. That's pretty good, isn't it? Yeah. I know. I was really fond of that one. And then your big why is something you plug into emotionally that drives you when things get tough. It's not a wish or a goal. It's something that will change your life or others around you or do something for you that really matters to your soul. It's your purpose, okay? And the key words in this to me are something you have to emotionally connect with, okay? And so seldom is a monetary goal something you're gonna connect with emotionally, right? $100,000 income isn't what you connect with emotionally. It's what does that income represent? Why is $100,000 important to you? And so we go through these exercises, you will see why is going to be a common thing. So if you think something's important to you, ask yourself the deeper question, why is that important to me? That's going to get you closer to your big why. And if you ask yourself, why is that important to me? That's going to bring you even closer. And so we're going to continue to dig. And is it always about you? No. It may be about your life or others around you, or it could be for you. So why do I want to know my big why? Well, those who truly know their why are people who align their behaviors and their goals. Think that's important? Yeah. You know, if we don't have that emotional connection, are we going to be driven to adopt the right behaviors and the right habits?
No.
No, we're not. So those who truly know their why are people who align their behaviors with their goals and get their work done day in and day out. So, nice quote from Nietzsche, if there's any philosophy fans in there. He who has a why to live can bear almost any how. Okay? So, we talk so often in these classes, how do you do the job? How do you get this done? How do you get to this level? Okay? But do most people do it?
No.
No. The reason why, their why is not big enough. Okay, with a big enough of a why, you'll overcome any how. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So, some other reasons a big why is important to know. It helps you stay focused. It makes you feel passionate about your goal. It gives your life clarity. Okay? Because everything that you do on a daily basis, is it in alignment with your big why, or is it not in alignment with your big why? It makes it really simple to make decisions when you know what your big why is. It makes you feel gratified, okay? Does it make you feel better to move toward an income goal or to move toward accomplishing what it is that fills your soul? You know, your big why. It feels better to satisfy your big why, right? It's not always about money. It enables you to live a value-based life. It makes you live with integrity. Okay, if you have a relationship with your big why and you know who you are and what you want at your core, then it makes it really easy to be true to yourself and you don't feel like you're pretending through life. It encourages trust. You know, think about the people you know that are on a mission, that are really connected with their ambition, their goals, their purpose for being here. How do you feel about them? Are we not inherently drawn to them and feel like, man, they really, it will do the same thing for you because others will see that characteristic in you. It infuses an element of grace in your life. And what I mean by that is as soon as we know what's really important and what's not important, you know, don't you think there's a peace that comes from that? Yeah. And because we get bombarded every day with all this sort of stuff and it's noise. You know, if you really look at it honestly, there's tons of noise. When you know your big why, so much of that noise subsides because you can ignore it. It helps you find a flow in your life, and it makes life even more fun. So, do Do you guys recognize this?
Yep.
What is it?
It's an iceberg.
It's an iceberg, that's exactly right. And what sticks out the top of an iceberg? How much of the iceberg can we get to see?
Not much.
Small percentage.
A small percentage, it's about 10%. For an iceberg, only 10% floats above the water. And this is just a really good analogy for the success we see in others, okay? And helping us understand why the big why is so important. Because when we look at others and we look at people that are successful, what are we usually looking at? What we can see. So how do we determine if somebody's successful or not? What's the easiest measure for that?
They're traveling all the time, going and buying
Well,
new
that's
cars all the
lifestyle.
time.
Okay, but we typically want to know how much
They're making.
money they make, right? Okay, and that's the profit. We look at wealthy people and we assume that they are successful. Okay, are they always successful?
No.
Just because they're wealthy? Do rich people commit suicide on a regular basis?
Yep.
Yeah. Why?
Man, I happy.
They're not happy. It wasn't about the money. Okay, but that's what we see, and that's what we equate with success. The other thing we'll also see is productivity. We know who's getting a job done. We see that sort of success. And the ones that are truly successful for the right reasons. What we don't see and what we forget to look at is they have their priorities straight, right? We don't see what are they saying no to on a daily basis. What are they saying yes to? We only see the income or the fact they got the closing, they got that job done. We don't pay attention to those everyday activities. And what we really don't know is what was their purpose. You know, there's a drive that they have that led them to have that profit, to have that success. And with an iceberg, the bigger the portion is that sticks out of the ground or out of the water, what do we know about what's under the water?
The bigger it is.
The bigger it is, okay? So the analogy I want you guys to think here, if you want a really big profit goal, if that's where your idea is, we've got to have a really big purpose that's driving that, because that's the foundation that everything else is built on. So how do you find your big why? Well, it takes a little bit of looking into your soul and trying to figure it out. And it's not easy, and these are conversations that at least me as a child, as a teenager, as a young adult, I wasn't asked these questions. I was asked, what do you want to be? That was probably about as complicated as it ever got looking forward. And then somebody would ask me, once I got into sales, how much money do you want to make? Nobody ever asked me why, or what was important, or what made me feel really good. And I love this graphic that talked about, where's your big why live? Okay, and we talk about a big why, that's kind of this, you know, nebulous concept that's really hard to pin down. Well, it's somewhere in this area. And if you look at this and you consider what you're great at and what you love, that's gonna be your passion, right? You look at what the world needs and what you love, maybe that's your mission. What people pay you for and what the world needs is your vocation. What people pay you for and what you're great at, that's your profession, okay? Well, at some place, if we can find a place where all those things intersect, we love it, we're great at it, the world needs it, and somebody's willing to pay us for it, man, are we not in a happy place? Okay? And that's where our big why can come in. The only thing that I would say about this is for your big why, it doesn't necessarily have to be something that you're paid for, right? You may find fulfillment someplace else where you're donating your time or giving it to somebody, but if I can get paid for it, that's even better. So, have you guys seen something like that before? But so somewhere in this little star, I would say, is where your big why lives. So thinking about ourselves and looking at what we're really good at, what we love, what the world needs, and what people will pay you for will help us get really close to where what our big why is. So, want to walk you guys through some questions, and I want to talk about them first, and then I have all of these on a worksheet for you guys to write your answers and go through them. But some of these questions, I want you to understand the importance of the question and what they are. So, what are your dreams? What are the things that you have talked about that you want to do someday? Okay? Because when is someday going to get here?
Tomorrow.
Maybe the next day.
Next day.
Yeah, it's always in a distance. Okay? What do we want for our significant other? Okay, we've got our personal dreams and ambitions that we want, but I don't think most of us are built to where the things we want most for ourselves. You know, what do we get most excited about this time of year at Christmas? The gifts we're gonna get or the gifts we're gonna give?
Give.
The ones we're gonna give. So what are the things that you want for that most important person in your life? That person you've committed to spending the rest of your life with. Where do you want to visit? Where is it that you want to go? Where in the world? Where in the country? You know, are there things that are on your bucket list that I need to get this done before get the bucket? What kind of future do you want to create and provide for your children? Do you think that's important for some of us?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. And I mean, be it houses, a business, a school, what is it that you want them to have when you finally are no longer here? What would you do for free? Okay, and by that I mean, if a organization asked you to volunteer your time, or someone asked you to do something for them, what would you be willing to do or enjoy doing or want to do that you would have no expectation of being paid for? Okay? Because the things we're doing willing to do for free are usually because we either care about that person or that organization. And so think about those. Or we just love doing that activity. And then what would you do if it was free? Okay? If it didn't cost you, if money were no object, what would you go and do? So would it be travel? Would it be play golf? Would it, you know, crochet? And if that's a hard question for you to wrap your brain around, if you won $1 million in the lottery tomorrow, how would you spend it? Most of us already have a list in our mind of things that we really, really want. If I had $1 million tomorrow, I would be buying a new house, I'd be putting money aside for my kids for college, I'd go start that new business that I always wanted to start. You know, we know exactly how we'd spend $1 million, but we haven't ever thought about what would we do if it was free, if money were no object, okay? Because we can't imagine a world where we have that much money to do it, but as soon as we put a number to it and say $1 million, we've all kind of had that little fancy. You know, see how those two questions kind of work together?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, a couple more questions. What change would you like to see in yourself? You know, is there a skill that you don't have? You know, do you want to play guitar? Do you want to sing? Do you want to, you know, be in different physical shape? Is there some sports you want to tackle? Do you want to go climb the 7 highest peaks in the world? What change would you like to see in your life? Okay, in your lifestyle. Okay, what would you like to see in your family's lives? What change? So, is it getting somebody into school or off of drugs or whatever the case is? Where are the things that you're passionate that you want to see a change? And then what about our community? Okay, and here we're talking about locally. You know, Snellville, Gwinnett County, in your neighborhood. What are changes you would want to see there, and what are changes you would want to see in the world? Okay, because somebody out there is cleaning the oceans, and somebody's making sure every village in Africa has a goat. Okay, and has a water well, and you know, others are housing the homeless and literacy. You know, if there's something you're passionate about, taking care of the military, what is it that you would have that kind of passion in? A couple other series of great questions. If you were on your deathbed tomorrow, what regrets would you have? What have you not accomplished at this point in your life that you wish that you had? Tough question. Did Mayor have any regrets besides me?
No.
No? Okay. I haven't lived a perfect life. Haven't always made the best decisions. So certainly I don't want to be someplace different, but I could have taken a better path. And would like to see others take a better path. If you knew you were going to die a year from now, today, a year from today, you knew today you were going to die, what would you want to accomplish in the next year? And how would you want to be remembered? What would your legacy be? So, before we go on to the next one, I want you guys to take about 10 or 15 minutes and work your way through those questions. you guys on Facebook. I will put that in. Trey shares his stuff in the printable resources.
dessert. I haven't had him.
So y'all can leave that last section blank, just work on the questions. That's 5 more minutes. Gotta keep my eye on that.
Yes.
Anybody watching come in? Oh, good. All right. Guys, it looks like most of you have made your way through most of the questions, and you can certainly come back to these, but I wanted to take you guys to the next step in this. But before I do, were any of you, did it trigger any thoughts or take you down any mental paths that you hadn't visited before as you answered these questions?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody care to share something that struck them as they worked their way through this?
Well, for me personally, I got a little emotional because my goal is to continue the legacy that my parents left for me and my brothers.
That's beautiful.
And I want to ensure that my kids and my nephews and nieces carry on that legacy, but it starts with me and my siblings to maintain it.
To do that. That's perfect. That's perfect. So, the next step, and you kind of already headed down this path. is I want you to go through each of these questions and ask yourself, why is that important to me? Okay? And then some of them, you're gonna be already at the finish line. But just use an example, what's your dream? Okay? Or what would you do if you got $1 million? Okay, so if you go to those questions, I would buy a bigger house. Okay? Well, the bigger house is not a big why. But you ask yourself, well, why is that important to me? Well, my house is too small right now. Well, why is that important to you? You know, well, I want to be able to have my kids and my grandkids over. I want them to have a place to come. Well, why is that important to you? You know, well, I want us to have a close relationship. I want to be an example to them. I want to be able to influence them for the next generation, you know. And you start getting down to, you know, maybe the objective is you want to be the matriarch or the patriarch for your family. You want to be the center place. You want to be able to provide your family a safe place where they have the assurance that no matter what's going on in their world, they always have some place to come to. Now we're getting into big why territory. Do you see the difference between the house and I want to be the matriarch and provide a safe place? So as you work your way through these, actually, why is that important to you? Okay? Because some of our answers, we didn't go very deep with them. And so they just take just a couple minutes. We're not going to take very long. And go through these and see if there's any of these that we need to ask this question, why? And put a star by them and maybe start answering them right beside them.
You didn't leave a lot of room for all this writing.
There's a whole other page on the back.
I know, but
I love that you filled it up. Do you want me to give you another sheet?
no, I'm good.
Guys started noticing that for you that you're seeing common themes through different answers. Yeah. That tells you that you're on the right track. And that's the next step, is to go through this and look at the things that really connect with you emotionally and pull those similar things together and now write a purpose statement. And my purpose statement, when I took this class 3 years ago, has only changed slightly. And you guys have to understand, as you grow and your life changes, your purpose statement may change. And it'll become obvious when I tell you what mine was. My purpose is to be a role model to my daughters and be prepared to provide them and assist them with opportunities for their growth and happiness. That was 1. 2, to find a partner to explore this life and this world on both the largest and smallest scale. Look, I kind of have a partner now. So now my mission is to explore the world on the largest and smallest scale with my partner. And then lastly, help others learn and grow so they can experience bigger success and happiness. Okay? When you think about what I do you think that my cup gets filled for that 3rd month as a coach? You know? Yeah, that's why I don't mind getting a phone call at 10 o'clock at night. You know? That's a happy place for me. I'm getting to help people succeed. So it's a lot of fun. If you struggle coming up with a big why, okay, settle for a little why for right now, okay? Some of us have things going on in our life that we can't see past, and that's okay, okay? I need to pay my mortgage on the 1st. That's the most important thing in my world right now, okay? It's okay to have that as a little why, but keep still looking for what's that bigger thing that I want, what's that bigger dream. The risk of not having a roof over my head in 3 weeks, you know, that may be all the motivation I need right now to get out of bed. But for most of us, we reach a place where we're comfortable, right? We have things we want, but we don't need. And if we really want to go chase success, if we want to have the ability to do for others, to be there to help family and assist family when they need to do the travel that we want to maybe buy some luxuries, we're going to need something bigger than I need to pay my rent on the 1st. Does that make sense? And that's where your big why comes in. So, and I found it really easy when I wrote it as a purpose statement. So, and mine starts out, my purpose is to, okay? And if you want to put the word life in there, my life purpose is to, okay? That may help you do it. Go ahead and take a couple minutes right now and pull just some of those ideas together and see if you can come up with a statement that, at least for the time being, will be a good motivation for you. Sure.
I didn't know we had class.
Yeah, big Y class.
What is it?
Big Y class.
Is it okay?
Yeah, are you just getting good?
Yeah. Sorry.
No, that's okay. What do you do on Facebook? We can look back. Is it kind of tough to condense it down into one statement, a couple of statements, or can really easy after considering everything?
It's hard to just make a statement.
Mm-hmm. That's why I had to make 3 for me to satisfy mine. I mean, I have more than one important thing in my life, and I'm motivated by each of them, and that's perfectly okay. But I encourage you guys, as you look at those different things, if it doesn't elicit an emotional response for you, that's not your big why. You know, unless you don't feel moved reading that, if you're not, you know. Then we work on it a little bit more. Alright, I'm gonna leave you guys to keep working on that. Seems like some of you have gotten it done. I want to talk next about once you do have that statement done, you need to have a relationship with your big why. Okay? And the same thing with your goals. So, studies show that only 6% of people that have written goals ever look at them again. They write their goals down and they do what with it?
Tuck it away.
Stick it in a drawer, stick it in a stack of papers, and they don't ever see them again. Okay? Until it's time to write their goals for the next year, and they pull them back out and they're like, oh, well, that didn't work out so well, and that didn't. You need to have a relationship with your goals. This needs to be something that you talk about, that you share with others, you know, especially the people that are really close to and important to you. It one creates a little bit of accountability to yourself, just by letting others know, because now you've given them the criteria that you want to be judged on. Does that make sense? Yeah. So share those with others, post them up. In my office, we have our mission, values, and core beliefs for our productivity coaching program. And that third clause from my big why is where that came from. And so I looked at every single day. Every time I go into my desk, I'm reminded of what my mission is, what my purpose is for being there. Okay? And I encourage you guys to do the same thing. Post these up on your refrigerator at home, put them on your mirror, set them up as a screensaver on your computer, take a photograph of it, make it your background image on your phone, so that you're constantly reminded what is most important to you in your world. What's the thing you're trying to get to? What is it you want to have the opportunity to do? And you will find that it will give you energy on the days when you're tempted not to have it. Okay? And we'll keep you moving forward. And then, once you know your big why, now we can talk about how. Okay? Now that we've defined this is where I want to be, this is what I want to accomplish, this is what I want to do, now we can have the conversation, how do I get there? Now we've got some clarity around our goals. We can put some numbers to it, okay? Because if I want that house, okay, at the lake, where everybody gets to come to, where I'm gonna build memories for my family, well, now I know how much that house is gonna cost and where I wanna buy it. Now I can set up a plan to generate that income to make that happen. Does that make sense? Yes. I wanna, you know, support this charity. Well, how much do I wanna support? You know, am I supporting them with time or I'm supporting them with money? And either one of those, I know I can give a value to it, and I can build a plan now to make that happen. Okay? And as I grow, my goals may grow. So that is all the content that I had for you guys today. I think that was the last slide. That was the last slide. So, but I hoped that since you guys were in the process of working on this stuff, that you might want to spend a little more time with it. So I'm just going to give you guys a little bit of quiet time if y'all want to do more, or if not, you are welcome to pack up and